Good evening, Final Fantasy Network. Welcome to this fantastic matchup we've got here in the round of 4. That is the semifinals of the Final Fantasy Randomizer SpeedGaming Live 2021 tournament. I'm here in the booth as Cheesenator tonight, casting with Hate13. Hate, how you doing?
I am doing pretty well tonight. Been looking forward to this match because these are both just amazing competitors, and I cannot wait to see how this plays out.
We've got two great runners here. Crabcakes, a former spring tournament champion. Ael has been on multiple team winnings in the fall leagues the last 2 years. Both really strong. Ael just took down another spring tournament champion, Spellzap, in the last round. So you know he's very capable of taking this series. It's going to be best 2 out of 3. Tonight is game 1, and the stakes are high. There's a big prize pool awaiting whoever advances and finally wins. And we've got some spicy stuff to work with tonight. What's going on with these classes, Hate?
Yeah, so for our draft picks tonight, we got a Thief, a Red Mage, a Black Belt, a Red Mage, a White Mage, and a Black Mage. And, well, whilst that Black Belt did have a plus 10 hit percent in Thief weapons, it had minus 10 MDef, and honestly, taking a Black Belt with these flags is kind of a trap.
Yeah, the Black Belt was interesting in some respects, but I think you take it as like sort of an out to a really, really bad Temple of Fiends if you have a spare slot, and Crabcakes tonight has decided that maybe she needs an out to a bad Temple of Fiends, because I think most high-level runners will agree, especially on short flags, you really only need 3 to win. So she's using that 4th slot to kind of gamble a bit, while Ael has taken a super safe White Mage. Why are the White Mages so safe?
Yeah, the White Mages, they ended up with the ability to equip Red Mage armor and plus 80 hit points, so they get to be nice and thick little meat walls for your party. They did lose 10 agility, but honestly, they're not dodging anything anyways.
Yeah, pretty irrelevant. Agility is probably your... Agility and intelligence are your favorite stats to see in the curses because they don't change much. The end game, as we've said, can be very volatile. The White Mage is going to provide a lot of insurance to especially high damage spells from Chaos and the Fiends. I see a timer. Oh, I see a countdown going for Ael, so it looks like we're about to kick off. We are on 15-minute delay here tonight. Let's see what's in the first shops.
Alright, and ducking in, finding Ruse and Harm 4 at level 1. Those are not too shabby for that White Mage, and Lightning 3 and Lock 2 for Black.
Yeah, that's a lot of essentials. There's early game here and late game. I think Ruse and Lock 2, those are things that are late game, but Lit 3 is going to kill basically anything from here through the Ice Cave, so you're pretty happy to see that one.
Oh, and you got some, decent gloves in the shop. Gloves plus 4 for 22 gold each. That's actually kind of decent armor for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think that's, I don't know if that's 4 or 5 absorb, or sorry, 5 or 6 absorb, but it's like, yeah, anyone can equip them, which is the big deal.
Yeah, alright, and Aelmarkin has gotten the race out of Corneria 1 and run into an unrunnable spider immediately. That's kind of an annoyance to see.
The spider shouldn't be any trouble. On these flags, we don't randomize scripts, so if you know an enemy casts spells or skills in vanilla, they can in this flag set, and otherwise they won't.
Sweet Christmas. Looking at Ael's party, his White Mage, why, has 108 hit points already. That was its start, whereas the poor Black Mage got a minus 20 hit point blessing and ended up with 5 hit points. Alright, TNT and ship from the King and the Princess, and Crabcakes finding a Sleep 2 minus 2 sword, which looks to have been the defense replacement, because it did not have an icon.
Yeah, so that is probably not something you're going to bother equipping at any point, but you can sell it for tons of cash, and the vendor item has been pretty cheeky in these flags. Sometimes the vendor item rolls in and it's like 30k at Elfland, and you got to go find a way to farm for it, so maybe that'll come in handy.
Yeah, and Crabcake's trying to actually make use of that sleep spell, or that sleep sword. I don't think Garland actually decided to take a nap, but Garland did do a solid and put her Black Belt down for a nap.
Alright, Ael's on the Pirates here. The Pirates pretty safe today, as they often are. Very low HP, low MDef, so 1 AoE is all you need to wipe them out. And then you can see what Bicky has as a prize for the shuffled, what would be ship.
Survey says Bicky gives you construction equipment. Well, or busted out the construction equipment and cleared out the canal for you. And as expected, Crabcakes did sell that Sleep 2 sword for 500 or 5,500, I think, ish.
Yeah, that's
enough
pretty
to get
solid.
some heals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important to be able to buy just some basics for a couple hundred or a couple thousand in the first few towns. Save items for the overworld, piers and softs, because you'll run into random bad touches from enemies, and then just to forward the spells for Ael's case. He's got 3 mages, Crabcakes has 2, and the thieves can equip magic as well. So it's really just a blast of magic.
Holy crap! We've got Fire 3, Brack, and Quadex at level 4. Or level 2, too. That's, yeah.
So once again, lots of great offense here. We've seen pretty much everything short of nuke when it comes to like high-level damage dealing or like efficient magic casts. Fire 3 is going to augment our elemental effectiveness. Quadex is great for executing anything that's not an undead or a robot. So really, lots of tools in the arsenal for both players, and they've got 3 black magic casters.
Yeah, that level 2 black spread is pretty sweet looking, honestly. Like, it's not quite as, Ael, man after my own heart, executing the Rage Dwarf, freeing him from his one-word misery.
Yep.
Good man.
And for the TNT, instead today we get a Ruby, so pretty straightforward progression from here. I feel like both runners are going to go do the double up check and see the Ruby in Sarda rather than rush down into Marsh Cave, which is only 1 check, given that the ship and canal lets us get over to the the Melman continent.
Yeah, I mean, well, if I were running, I would probably duck down to Elfland to check the spells. I, however, have already been eliminated, so, my advice, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, same here. We went out in the same round, so high five.
Round 1 out. Wah!
Alright, so Ael is already over to the Titan's Trove here. This is a special modified location in the randomizer. The Titan has been moved to block all exits, and then the 4 chests down here have had an incentive added to them, just to make the Ruby give a little bit more intrigue than it does otherwise. So 3 random chests and 1 nuke stick!
Holy
okay.
crap. Okay, so wow, the Titan's Trove, the play that pays. Holy crap.
Yeah, this is a really, really good pickup all around here. So Ael not only gets that nuke stick, which gives the white mage something to just throw at enemies for the rest of the game. The rod is also another sort of double incentive in this flag set, because it both lets you get down into Earth to find the rod-locked incentive, and once you beat Lich, you can go talk to the sages for an item in Crescent Lake.
Yeah, unlike many of our normal flags, we actually have early sages and early ordeals turned off. So if you want to talk to the sages, you actually got to put in the work and end Lich. It's more than a couple of times people have bounced off the sages. Myself included.
Yeah, and that chime we can't do anything with now. Northern docks are off in this flag set, so we won't be expected to enter Mirage Tower or Onrak or anything too early, but we need it to win eventually. Sky has a required fiend, as well as potentially a needed incentive up in the Sky Palace.
And if we're really lucky, a robot chicken. I'm hoping we'll be lucky enough to see said robot chicken tonight. Alright, Ael checking the Hall of Giants, finding cobras and zombies. That is very much a waste of trap tiles. Crabcake pulling her bell out from Sarda, whereas Ael is going to be checking the 3rd tile in Earth and finding mages. It's viable for a couple of low-level fights, but not really huge.
Yeah, the the two things I think about this tile, one is the high variance. It can be, I think, 1 to 4 mages, maybe only 1 to 3. So the experience can be a tad low. And the other thing is that they have a script in vanilla, which isn't a lot less scary here because, you know, in vanilla they open with like what, Fire 3, and that was a lit 2 that came out first round. So
Yeah, when you're this low level, lit 2 is going to be a scary thing to see. It looks like Ale going for a bit of green checks, though, kind of surprisingly. And yeah, his crabcakes is just like, you know what, I'm not touching anything here. I'm just going to keep going.
yeah. Ooh, and Blizzard on the skill list, so absolutely unsafe mages unless you were here with a bunch of ribbons, but you won't really have time for that in this seed. So Ale just scoping everything out, seeing if there was a way to get some decent levels, but frankly, unless Lich does the exact same thing and starts with a Blizzard, you've got a pretty safe shot to get through this Earth Cave with just the resources they started with.
It's amazing what a nuke stick will allow you to do. Well, nuke stick and ruse, and toss it on them, and you just, okay, I'm going to ruse up, and now I'm just going to nuke. That's pretty much a fiend kill right there. Oh, and a pro ring +4. Nice find.
Yeah, that's a chest that's often skipped past, I think, because everyone knows the incentive is going to be down below the rod lock. The thing most often gets checked is just the one next to the van. And Ale checks it as well, so everyone's getting a pro ring.
All
Good.
right.
Good on them. But yeah, the vampire, who is also unsafe, by the way, but has low HP, is between us and 8 chests that could contain the next incentive item.
Yeah, I personally am actually kind of a fan of how the incentive items were distributed with this one, where they are after gating for the elemental dungeons, except for Volcano, because there is no gating in there, so Volcano gets left out.
Yeah, Volcano has its own unique times it comes into play. Sometimes you need to go there early with like a canoe to get cash for vendor items or spells, that sort of thing.
Yeah, or sometimes you do the greed check and, you know, check the giant pile of chests in Volcano Armory and, you know, find a ribbon and a nuke stick, or...
Yep, that has happened.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I saw a clip of it, which is why I referenced it. And there goes the vampire down to the nuke.
Cool. Crabcakes running into an unrunnable encounter here. The usual unrunnables in the game have been mixed up into the pool of the rest of the enemies, so you'll see a few formations like this.
Alright, Crabcakes cracking open the first chest and finding a tail in there, so promotions at least on the table if you want it. Though it's not like that thief actually needs it, as the thief got ninja spells and the ability to equip a katana just right out the gate.
Yeah, I think promotion pretty much gets ignored unless fast is locked away at a high tier, and I think only fast is the only spell for which you'd promote with this particular party setup, knowing these runners' tendencies.
Yeah, I would be surprised if either of them actually promoted if they can find fast at anything less than level 6.
Oh man, just stop for a minute to marvel at the menuing speed. Crabcakes plays on keyboard, which correlates slightly, but I think there's also just, you know, an understanding of the menus and the frame timings and stuff that comes with like veteran experience, and she just blisters through those menus. It's amazing to watch.
She is preternaturally fast at that stuff. It is just frightening.
Ooh, a nice wall coming out there on the nuke stick caster, just in case Lich decided to be spooky, but Lich only punched, so the nuke stick and these handful of spells, well, they didn't get the job done this round. Lich needs some respect, but we should have it here. With the wall going up especially, there's almost no way to die.
Yeah, that black belt is gonna survive pretty much mostly anything except like a nuclear, which I don't think can roll on Lich 1 in these flags.
Yeah, everything that the first Fiends can do can be resisted by ribbons and walls, so they're both through. No tragedies in Earth today, nobody resetting and setting themselves back 6 minutes or whatever, so it's nice to see. And we'll be moving on to check probably the Sages, I think, before you commit to Marsh Cave?
Yeah, probably, because Marsh never Fade and Life 2 at level 5, slot 1, slot 2. Oh, fast is promo locked.
Wow. Alright, well, then that's what you do with it. And the Fade can come in for a little bit of backup to the nuke stick. Certainly there'll be Fiends where you'll want to go like nuke stick plus Fade on the first 2 in Topher, and then, you know, switch to some other strategy on Chaos maybe.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to complain about having 2 sources of big non-elemental damage. Holy crap, and the runners are just about in sync
Yeah.
here.
Getting the same encounters too. You just love to see that screen sync. Oh, crabcakes is the one who actually gets an experience set worth taking here. They're kind of chonky, but again, they're gonna be safe. And peds, they're called EX peds for a reason.
Ale checking the item shop in Crescent Lake and finding a big fat ball of nothing. And
Oh,
armor
copper
shop.
+3, Brother Sid? Did you see that? Yeah, that's gonna be what is that? 10 absorb for the mages, and the wood +4 is 12 for the thief. So everyone's
Yeah,
sorry, only one of the mages needed the copper because of the red mage blessing.
yeah, and that's a pretty good sight to see. Actually, I just realized softs, cabins, houses, heals, and pures. This is the one-stop shop for all your items. And the old man, give us a crown today.
And crown, yet another double up item because it's going to let you fight Astos, the kindly king in the northwestern castle, and also it opens up Castle of Ordeals, which once they have a canoe, they'd be able to go down and check.
Alright, so level 6 white, big ol' whammy, level 6 dark. I saw slow 2 in there, and I think that's about the only thing that was potentially of any kind of use. So level 6, kind of a strike.
I like Ael's, like a small touch, but I like Ale skipping the white shop there because I think you've already seen enough of the essentials that you're not like worried about the rest of the game's white magic. You've got that ruse available, so you already know you've got some evasion stacking, and you got that fade at the level 5.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have actually checked level 4 yet, have they?
They haven't, but I mean, the fact that Elfland will have 2 shops for them means you're pretty high odds to find, like, whatever else you need, basically.
Yeah, as I'm just realizing I put a mental seed bleed that was last race I was calling that had life 2 at level 4 and cure 4 at level 4. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
Alright, we're looking for Temper here. Oh my goodness, Nuke and Temper. Could the seed be any nicer?
I mean, it could have been at level 1, but...
Yeah, I guess Nuke is 2200, so that's like a small... kind of tempers your excitement about the level.
Yeah, a little bit. Level 3 white, pile of nothing.
But yeah, everyone's got something to do. They've got going to have a lot of charges to cast these essential spells late game. Heal 3 and Invis 2, great utility that's available, specifically the Invis 2 for Ael's White Mage, but the Heal 3 can be used by the Red Mage for both players.
Yeah, and with seeing that Heal 3 and that Invis 2, I'm like 95% certain that covers pretty much all of the white magic you'd really want to buy.
Yep, the heal magic also is buffed in this flag set, so you really like to see any of those higher tier heal and cure spells that have a chance, anyways, to keep you safer from big damaging spells in Temple of Fiends.
Yeah. And actually, as I'm thinking about it, we haven't seen Cure 4 yet either, and that one's not one I'm going to turn down, but yeah.
Alright, and Astos, are you going to put up a fight today? The answer is absolutely not. Gives us an adamant, so back to the dwarf cave, still with no canoes. That means we have to go all the way around, and CC is parked on the bottom here. I think Ale is as well, so that's a bit of a trek.
I think CC might
Marsh
actually
cave,
do that marsh dive. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do the proximity play.
Yep, do the marsh dive. Hope you find the canoe in there so you don't have to, do the sail around back to the inner sea just to turn in the adamant.
Yep. Veteran move there. I love it, Hate.
Yeah, this is a very smart play, and this is why Crabcakes has consistently turned in some blazing fast times with these flags.
They've done slightly different checks, and I think Ael's maybe had to look at more, or like buy more magic because of his 4 mage party. But it's interesting that Crabcakes like suddenly took a lead in the foot race, given that Ael was a little bit ahead, say, 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's really just... It's amazing how quick the leads can flop back and forth on these, and it's all really just dependent upon how your luck is for some of the stuff. Well, that and how quickly these two menu, that actually might come into play a little bit, because, yeah, Oxyale. It's needed, but you don't want to see it yet.
Yeah, the Oxyl, that'll open up once we also have the key, the incentive inside the right side Sea Shrine key lock chest. So that's usually not progression. I think at this point it could be like the cube or the loot maybe. So not super likely because there's a lot more checks between now and then. But if you know it's a ribbon or if you know it's a mausolate, it's a really nice quick thing to grab before Kraken.
Yeah, as long as you got warp charges, you can go in there, get that chest opened up, and get back out with a cost of about 12 seconds or so, I believe. Unless you get jumped by anything, of course, but just the straight movement is about 12 to 13 seconds. Probably less for these two because that was my moving time, and sometimes my fingers aren't as dexterous.
By the way, in case people haven't noticed yet, if you're used to certainly the vanilla speed, but even seeing other randomized seeds, this boat might be a little bit disorienting. It's the speedboat. It's been sped up to the speed of the airship, and those sea tiles fly by, and with the very low encounter rate that we have on these flags, you just kind of get to run around the ocean for free.
Speedboat, best boat. Now, that's because the airship is a ship, not a boat. So that's my qualifications for it. Alright, and looks like we got a really solid crystal out of that adamant turn-in. I wonder about the opacity of said crystal. Small. But apparently it'll work from Toya no matter what, because she's still going to give us some loot for it.
I mean, it's the least she can do. Like, we've restored her ability to see, I'm guessing to like see into the future, because I don't know how many people are going to be like looking through a crystal to navigate the world in front of them, but I mean, she does her, so whatever.
Yeah, the way that she talks, it seems like she can't see at all without her crystals, so I guess she's going to be getting used to seeing the world through a metallic tinge. I mean, at least it's a good solid metal, so that crystal's not going to have anything go wrong with it. Ale taking the time to stop and kill the Hooray Dwarf again. Once again, good man, Ale. Good man. So, since the canoe has come out, looks like Crabcakes is going to be heading right on down to Ordeals, which is the pretty much last place they can check right now, aside from Ice Cave, and nobody really wants to go to Ice Cave unless they absolutely have to.
Yeah, Ice Cave, I don't think anyone's packing a warp yet, and without warp or exit or whatever, Ice Cave takes a lot longer. It is somewhat dangerous in these flags. We don't have a ribbon yet, so yeah, you're going to try and stay out of there for as long as possible.
I'll do that on normal or pretty much on any flags. I'm team never ice unless you absolutely have to. Alright, Ale about to turn in that chunk of metal and get his canoe. Whereas Crabcakes is having some issues with that maze where she just keeps ending up back at the start. Kind of hate doing that.
Yep, but eventually you'll get through it. And you also have to assume that provided your opponent also picks like the closest pillar by walking distance to wherever they are, that they're going to end up going through the same exact pattern.
Yeah, it's... Ordeals without warp sucks. I mean, it's not as bad as, ice with warp, but still, it's an annoyance. Okay, and those man-cats have slow too, but they don't really resist having microwaves thrown at them. Alright, Crabcakes through the pillar maze and finding a blue D tile, which, depending upon how that rolled, that could be some good XP. And she is just fading all these chests because she knows exactly what she wants to open up.
Yeah, honestly, this is a seed that really kind of threw the win conditions in front of us, right? If the magic is good and you've got like decent base stats, then really the only things you need as your backup strategy to magic is the endgame ribbon and Maza, right? Like, where there's going to be, they're not going to be in these random chests.
Yeah, that being said, I mean, I will check these chests because I have a horrible problem with my loot goblin. And, you know, sometimes you pull out some good stuff from them. But, once again, this is why CC is still in, and I am not. And for those of you who haven't seen Crabcakes race before, you'll notice that she makes very good use of the save and reset. She is a master of encounter manipulation.
Yeah, that's a skill. By the way, not to override that floater that just popped out there. By the way, big news: CC will be in the air shortly. But yeah, a big part of the high-level Final Fantasy Randomizer skill is being able to master all the systems of the game, which includes, for as few encounters as there are, being able to get around them as quickly as possible in this flag set as well.
And at 22:52, we've got Crabcakes into the air and on her way to ice. I hate this play much less now that you've got the airship. Part of the reason I also dislike ice is I really, really dislike the river system. There's too many things that can roll nasty there.
Yeah, and we've even made the river system more convenient. The randomizer makes a handful of map alterations to just assist in the routing and kind of make it a little less linear. So the river has actually been opened up such that you could sail all the way from Kravoka to Elfland if you want, stopping at either volcano or ice cave along the way.
Okay, and Ael found a Fade Sword hiding in Ordeals, so he's got a nuke stick and a Fade Sword now.
Okay, that's actually a potential edge, because if you think like, you know, maybe Chaos or whatever is 1500 HP, and you want to just come out blasting with the best stuff you have available, Ael's going to be able to lead with like as many fades and nukes as possible, slightly more so than Crabcakes, especially packing that White Mage. So, you know, that could be an edge in certain types of final dungeons.
So anyway, I just started blasting. And that's pretty much what those item magic is saying at this point. And CC just passing up every single chest and barely, like, she checked the required spike tiles and that's it. And that, honestly, I can't blame her. Alright, apparently we were keeping our absinthe on ice because it was in the vanilla ice cave.
We're gonna go give that to the fairy, or sorry, we're gonna go pull the fairy out of it. Though, to be honest, I mean, maybe the fairy has just been drinking whatever juice is inside, and that'll be something we can do by heading up to Gaia with our floater. So, no problem getting that now. But you would have hated to have gotten it pre-floater.
Oh my, yes. If somebody had actually gone to ice rather than Ordeals, oh, that's just a slap in the face. Looks like Aelmarkin popping in to top off on some safe items, because, you know, encounter minute. And Crabcakes is just going for that dive down to punch carry. Or, you know, wave sticks at her until she falls over.
Yeah, I think CC, like, whoa, and Ael's doing it too. So, I guess when the top runners both do it at the same time, I have to question my own wisdom. But having seen failed carry attempts this tournament, I always like second guess it. But I guess when you have three or four non-elemental AoEs that you can cast in the same round, and like 200 plus HP to withstand something like thunder or damage poison, then it's a pretty sure bet. Carry's going to roll between 300 and 1200 HP, which is kind of highly variable, but most of the time you'll get through her in one round.
Yeah, I personally had a tendency to have carry as my last fiend, just because, you know, with Kraken and Tiamat, you can go in and if you have Brack and or Bane, you can get an easy kill on them no matter what. With Lich, it's Lich. If you have Cake, it's even better. But Carrie, she doesn't have an instant win condition like that. The closest she's got is her weakness to status effects like Confuse. Oh my, and Aelmarkin also finding an Xcal -1, which that red mage can swing.
Yeah, the Xcal, like, there's a lot of times where the Xcal gets like is a bonus that someone can equip in these flags, and it's like probably the least exciting one because you know it's not going to do ding dong against chaos.
Yeah, but up until chaos, that Xcal is gonna hit everything kind of hard. And down goes Carrie on crabcake side. And I expect Ale is, yep, down it goes for Ale.
Yeah, Ale got, I think, much lower rolls, but Carrie was not super high HP, so no problem for either of them. It's practically screen sync. Like, it's great to see two veteran runners just going at it here and covering so much of the ground simultaneously, because you know that means they're neck and neck. Though maybe CC is a whole ice cave ahead. I'm not sure what Ale has done in lieu of that.
Yeah, no, CC is just about an ice cave ahead. He has checked a few other chests and had some other encounters that didn't play as nice for him, which has put him a little bit behind. So this is like CC's encounter manipulation on the overworld has done an amazing job for her.
Uh-oh, Frost Wolves, watch out. Everyone, high alert. Okay, they have a spell, which is slow. They have a skill, because we don't care about slow.
Slow is an annoyance. That's all it is. It's just going to waste time, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, it's going to do what the name advertises. Oh, this is a fun fetch quest. Watch it be bottle to slab to whatever else we have left, the herb or something, and then just be like the ribbon. Oh no, we've got the herb. So it's probably just, But still, watch it be the ribbon. It's like, okay, well, it's nice to have, but there's a chance if you do that and you went to Ice Cave for it, you'll think, well, in the back of my mind, maybe my opponent did it. Maybe I just wasted 5 minutes or something, and they're way ahead of me now.
Yeah, this is, man. Honestly, actually, I can't really think of anything that would be too mean for that slab to turn into, because they've already found the tail, and that would have been the worst thing for it to be.
All right, CC is doing the slab chain. Nothing too surprising here. Sometimes you'll find a decent fight over in these zones to just kind of soak up some experience along the way. People often also like to look for encounters right around the ship up there, because sometimes you find that power cycle T-Rex. Put that in your back pocket for if you need to do a backup Topher grind, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't hate the play of going to Lefane first, because still got to get the cube, and if this had been the cube, that's right there, that's a great thing.
But it's looking like Waterfall Ordeals now is the next play, given that the cube is absent, and we're probably down to a situation where Mazza's going to be somewhere in Sky, and you've got to dig it out. If you want it, that is. Like, again, not necessarily going to be needed.
Yeah, it's a fine to have, but don't really need it.
Also, check me on this, but have we seen the vendor item, or is it in OnRack?
I don't think we have seen the vendor item yet, so I'm thinking probably OnRack, because Yeah,
because Mr. Underhill there sells a bottle to you from the shop in vanilla. That's something that's randomized in, and there's the loot. So that leaves very little remaining. There's a ribbon out there, there's a Mazza out there, and there's a cube out there distributed between Waterfall, Sea Shrine, and Sky. Crabcakes might be trying to do the avoid side dungeons play here, see if cube is on the right side, and then she'd be in go mode.
I agree with this play, because she was already in Ordeal, or in OnRack. Why not check it? I mean, if you can avoid having to go up to the waterfall, great! And to answer the question in chat, the Lefanians had the key, and there's the cube, yep. That means that Sky has the ribbon or the Massa somewhere floating about in it in one of the many, many, many chests, and that Waterfall has the other one of them. So, take it or leave it.
Yep. Sea Shrine here, gonna be relatively safe. You're actually more worried about getting punched to death than anything else, because very few of the enemies in the dungeons have scripts. I believe it's only the big eye, but lobsters and ghosts in particular can hit very, very hard.
Yeah, ghosts are just disturbingly strong. But yeah, if you can get to Kraken, you've got level 2 Brack, and, all of the nukes. I think you're probably going to take it down.
This gray shark is deceptively not gray. It looks like a purple shark with the sewage brown shark next to it. Crabcakes is playing with the enemy palette shuffle on.
Yeah, that's not a gray shark. That's just an angry shark. It's a grrr shark.
Yeah. Those ghosts also kind of looked like rave ghosts. Thankfully, they were not going to cast trance on us.
Whew. Hate saying that, because ghosts punch like a truck full of smaller, angrier trucks.
Okay, that's a new one.
Just like, ghost smash! Oh god, no! Yeah, you mix in trance with that? No, that's a bad time.
Yeah, no, we don't want bad times here, only good times. So we're hoping CC walks in and dispatches of this 8-legged fiend here without too much trouble. But Kraken can troll you. If it gets that turn order, punches someone before they cast nuke, and that keeps happening every round, you could be dead in 4 rounds.
Yeah, but let's see how this goes. 1 nuke, 134, 2 nukes, 282, 3 nukes, 202. Wow.
Yep, so Kraken rolled somewhere around 500-600 HP, easy peasy. Crabcakes is up to level 15, and frankly might not get much higher than about 17 or 18 before the end of this game.
Yeah, if she gets jumped by Warmech, that'll be a whole bunch of extra levels, but that would be a bit of a risk. And
yeah.
Honestly, I think if she gets jumped by Warmech, she's just going to run from it anyways.
If it's runnable.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. There are some times where you run into that Warmech that you cannot run from.
Yep. So far we've seen, I want to say only 3 unrunnable formations. It was the spiders, it was the sea trolls, and the wizards. So there are like 10 or 12 of them out there. So, still decent odds if you're rooting for Warmech. Get out some Mr. Destructoids in the chat once we get higher in this guy, and maybe you'll see the forced fight.
Alright, with Ale getting his cube, he is also now in go mode. Well, murder in go mode.
Yep. Ale, it's not lit up, but Ale does have the fire orb, so really is just sort of I got about 1 dungeon behind, right? Because he's got to go back to the left side of C and do that, and Crabcakes has just started up in the Mirage Tower. But like 1 wipe on Chaos or something, which is frequent in these flags, and we could see an even foot race once again.
Yeah, it's very often that the difference between the runners is just like 1 wipe.
Given that CC is under the best case circumstances, probably on like 41-minute pace, I would classify this as a jet seed. They're very fast flags, so it's hard to tell what's jetty and what's not, but we could be seeing a very impressive finish time if there are no hiccups. But in Final Fantasy Randomizer, there are always hiccups. You've got an uncurable case of the hiccups sometimes in this game.
Yeah, sometimes Topher's just gonna Toph, and
sometimes Whizvamps are gonna cremate.
Silly Whizvamp, you're supposed to get hit by fire damage, not, deal fire damage. Wow, I think that Whizvamp had more hit points than Kraken did.
Yeah, very possible. They can roll up to like 700-ish.
And as we were talking about jet seeds earlier, the thought came to me, pretty much every seed that I've seen Crabcakes run in has been a jet seed. For her, at least.
Of course. Alright, so airs, no big deal. Fighter, it's unrunnable, and we're going to take it regardless. Fighters can have a script, but there's only one of them on screen, and they're usually not too scary. Boom, erased, Quad X, very handy spell to have. Ale's going to take on Kraken, and we're pretty much just looking for the same turn order, nuke luck. Shouldn't be too dramatic.
Alright, low roll on that nuke, only getting 105, another 120. 225 total, 187, and then ink.
Hey, a vanilla ink. Tiamat is only sleep 2ing the thief, so really not threatening. CC has gone for straight damage strats on Tia with the prevalence of nukes. Tiamat can roll up to 2000 HP and has decent MDef, so sometimes it's not quite the plan. They have Break in the inventory at slot 2, but Nuke gets the job done.
Yeah, you throw enough microwaves at anything, and it'll fall down.
Wow, this is just, yeah, this is blisteringly fast. CC's going to be into Temple of Fiends before 38 minutes, unless she does any other last-minute cleanup, but I don't think these flags afford you the chance for last-minute cleanup. The game plan is get into Topher, see if you win with what you have. If it's good enough, great. If not, the cost to the wipe is not that high. It's a couple minutes, and you can go readjust from there.
Yeah, I think about the only cleanup that is viable to do on these is, okay, do I have heal pots? Yes. Do I have more than 50 of them? Yes. All right, I'm going.
Yeah, and even 50 is probably a stretch because it's like you got to heal off the damage from 1 or 2 fiends. And
Wow.
Lich has about 400 HP. Looked lower than vanilla.
Yeah, Lich 2 was a pile of dust. And that was before it got killed. Holy crap, a 318 on that first nuke out of CC. Carry turnaround, dropping a light 2. Not huge amounts of damage.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so this is the squish side of Topher, so CC picked correctly.
Yeah,
you'll often see runners reset if the first fiend on either side is Tiamat or Kraken.
Left side is always the right side, unless it's not.
Sometimes the right side is the left side, but only in flipped dungeons.
All right, and we got Chaos, and we've got nuke.
All right, 156. God, should I try and keep a tally? Yeah, we're at 170-ish, 180-ish. I've already lost count. Math is too hard. We're at like 600.
Yeah, numbers are things.
Chaos is going to be between 1,000 and 4,000 HP, so quite a wide range. That's what you get with 50 to 200% flags. Hasn't gone down yet. We've dealt just around 1,000, maybe 1,100.
Yeah, somewhere around that point. We haven't seen much above. We've seen. I think a high roll has been 186 so far. Yeah. So yeah.
And just punches and ink. Like this is so darn safe. A nuclear would have to come out next round in high roll, but it doesn't. Crabcakes is done with a sub 40. This is one of the best times of the entire tournament or qualifier rounds. Very, very hard to beat an opponent who does not make really any major mistakes and runs a sub 40. Like, you can run your heart out and not beat that. So GG to Crabcakes. Get out those congrats in the chat. Ale also hasn't made any mistakes, but just sometimes it's hard to beat that lightning level of efficiency that CC can put out.
Jeez, beasties. Yes, CC finished up with an official race time of 39:08. Jeez, beasties. That was impressive. I mean, yeah, there was so much nuke in this seed, it's not even funny, but still, that was amazing.
CC does not do booth interviews, so we're just checking. Looks like she'll be showing up in chat, so if you've got any questions for her, and of course we as the commentator team can pass her a few as well, go ahead and post those in chat. It's hard to have a lot of questions about a seed like this. It kind of dealt them the hand they needed, and CC executed it to perfection. So every now and then you see a run like that in Final Fantasy Randomizer tournaments that just makes you go, wow.
Yeah, CC is she is a top tier player. And I think Ale, since he knows that CC is finished, is probably just taking the time to just pick up some more stuff and be on the safe side for it.
Yep. Double check for some of that relevant magic, probably stuff like Invis, Heal, whatever. But resets all the way back to Provoca, so he's going to go in with what he's got. Honestly, I think his chances are as good, if not better, than CC's, barring, like, maybe there was a very low chance to cast spells or skills from Chaos, and actually CC got the luckiest script in the world. But, I mean, when you see multiple turns of, like, nothing and then ink, you usually expect the opponent to get similar RNG.
Yeah, that was... Oh, man. I am flummoxed with the speed at which this seed has gone. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Over the course of the tournament, especially from the start of qualifiers to now, people got better at the flags. They played them, they practiced them, they had multiple high stakes runs where they had to figure out new plans and adjust, and they've all gotten to just this really elite level of execution. So the times that used to be good, like that you could first place a qualifier with, they don't cut butter anymore. Like, you need something better. You need a hot knife rather than a lukewarm knife.
Yeah. That being said, I think CC posted like a 40-minute time in qualifiers as well. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but
so we've got Ale coming up on Chaos. Let's see if it's any more dramatic. Heal 3 going to save us some time menuing to top off the party to full. Doing some wall, so staying safe. You love to see it.
yeah, better safe than sorry on that. You never know what this Chaos actually is going to have.
Yep, the White Mage being the thickest among them and having the nuke stack means it's like your most... nuke stick, rather. Means it's your most valuable character, can heal itself, can survive most nuke rolls.
Yeah, as long as it's not a, max roll nuke, it'll still live. Alright, Chaos hits for 125, and welcome into the folks from SpeedGaming 4. Sorry to tell you,
made it just in time to see the already known conclusion of a match, which is... okay, there's an Inferno that rolled super low. Inferno's super strong, and that was like a very gracious one, and Ale terminates Chaos the same round.
Jesus beasties. So we've got Aelmarkin finishing up second at 43-24. GG's out in chat for Aelmarkin.
Absolutely. Great run by both players. If you want to learn how to get good at the randomizer, these are the kinds of people to watch, and also make sure to follow them on their Twitch streams as well. I just posted the links in chat. We should be getting Ale in here. Let me double check. Actually, Ale is not said affirmatively yet whether he'll interview, but we'll see.
Well, and there we have Aelmarkin joining us in chat.
Fantastic.
Yeah, GG's Ale.
Hey, thanks, guys.
That was an amazingly fast seed for both of you.
Yeah, I went back and looked because I was talking to somebody about it after the fact, and I think they're including CC's win tonight. There's like only been 4 that are quicker, and that's all the way going back to pods. So it's definitely crazy how quickly this one went.
Yep.
Jeez, beasties.
It's like when you see something like this, you know your margin for error is less than 0. You would have had to have like done something to make up time that you didn't know you needed. It's just very difficult to beat a run that efficient.
And so, CC, if you would care to answer this in chat, and I'm going to pose the same question to you, Ale, what were your thoughts on party creation?
So for me, I mean, I'll put it out there because I've told people before, I'm not super strong when it comes to thief leads, but at the same time, at least in these flags to me, even with like that plus 10 hit percent blursing that the black belt got, they just don't really feel like black belt flags. Doubly so when you're going up against like crabcakes, because you're not going to be given that time to sit and grind.
Exactly.
And really at like 18, 19, maybe if you're lucky, the black belt's really not going to be your damage dealer. So for me, at least taking the thief was kind of a no-brainer. And then I've gotten burned in the past on a couple seeds with missing on like wall because it was white mage locked. So I just went rainbow party because I figure, why not?
Yeah, and the thieves were literally ninjas today, so that was fun.
Yeah, I know, right? Ninjas that couldn't quite equip the armor. And just for the edification of people watching this later on YouTube, Crabcakes responded with that she would have rerolled the Thief Red, Black if level 1 nuke, or the Black Belt to a White Mage with Fade or Exit or something. And she's saying that the Thief lead kind of sucks in a lot of situations, so she took the Black Belt as a just-in-case thing, which makes a lot of sense.
What else do I want to ask? Really, there wasn't a lot of deviation. Your routes were similar. You checked, gosh, maybe like a couple more chests than her, but that was really close too. You came away with that Fade Sword, I think, which was probably the one thing in your back pocket that might have been a difference if you really needed a lot of charges in Topher, but it turned out not to be the case so much.
Yeah, a lot of it was just like hedging my bet. So I knew Wall was early, but even with Wall being early, all it takes is like really terrible spell order and turn order to ruin your day, because I don't think we saw life anywhere. And then Ribbon was either locked in water, well, back behind Waterfall or somewhere in Sky. So it's like I was still opening a couple boxes in the off chance I got lucky and found like a Ribbon. We still ended up getting I ended up getting the X-Cal from one of the chests somewhere. So that was at least, in the event, everyone having like unlimited nukes, it felt like, didn't get the job done. At least maybe I had a chance with like buffing the X-Cal like as a backup plan.
For sure. Yeah, there was a lot available if either of you needed to change strategy this seed. Like, it wouldn't have been too hard to respec into melee damage.
Yeah, especially with that red mage being able to actually swing the X-Cal.
So let's see here. I'm going to take a quick look at the calendar, but unless you want to tell us what the time is for your match tomorrow, looks like.
So tomorrow we're scheduled to go at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then if by some miracle there's a game 3, we're just taking like a 30-minute breather in between seeds, and game 3 will be right afterwards.
Fantastic. All right, so for those in chat who want to tune in tomorrow on Saturday, that is, we'll have the 3:15 p.m. broadcast time for Game 2, and then potential 4:45 p.m. broadcast time for Game 3. Those are TBD, but they'll be on a SpeedGaming channel, so please be sure to follow all the SpeedGaming 1 through 6 to make sure you don't miss it. Why don't we move on to final thoughts? Ael, anything else about the seed or the matchup?
Sorry, Cheese, I missed part of that. What was the question?
Oh, final thoughts on the seed or your matchup with crabcakes?
No, I mean, it's she's the top tier runner, so when you race her, you've got to come prepared. And I was really hoping that I was prepared enough tonight, but apparently somewhere I wasn't. So it was definitely an exhibition. So I'm hoping to learn a little bit of something tonight when I watch this back, and hopefully apply it tomorrow, and maybe steal a win from her.
Cool. Kokom's, hey, do you have final thoughts? Go for it, and then I'll wrap us up.
I was just going to say, tell CC that if she had any final thoughts as well, drop them in chat and I read them on out. But this was a blistering fast match between the two of you, and I'm really hoping that your games 2 and hopefully 3 are going to be restreamed tomorrow. But even if they're not, I might see if I can do another, quick and dirty Bicky stream, and hopefully not have a computer crash in the middle of it. And Crabcakes is saying that she needs, that she wants to have Danny back to roll the next one.
Oh yeah, got to make it really, really miserable. Make the runners put on their thinking caps. That's what we need. So, thanks for all that. I'd really love to thank everyone for tuning in and watching today. Thank the SpeedGaming staff for always being so helpful. They're putting on a great tournament that goes for just a couple more days. We've got semifinals here for FFR, and then the finals will be coming up on Sunday. Thank you to our tracker tonight, Burt Reynolds, who is also one of the organizers of the tournament. Really, there's not much else to say. Go ahead and follow the runners, and if you will like the commentary and tracking team as well, and head to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com if you'd like to play the game, randomize your own seeds, or join the Discord and hanging out with the community. Until tomorrow, we will see you next time.